Let us travel back in time thousands of years ago. We are in Egypt, a land of hot sun and a great river called the Nile. The Egyptians were some of the first people to build cities and invent writing. They left behind amazing monuments like the pyramids, giant stone tombs for their kings. The ancient Egyptians lived very differently from us. Their lives were closely tied to the Nile River, which flooded every year and made the land fertile. This flood cycle dictated their calendar and daily routines. Imagine a world without cars or electricity. The Egyptians believed in many gods and goddesses who controlled nature. They thought these gods influenced their lives in every way, so they prayed to them, offered gifts, and built magnificent temples to honor them. Come, let's learn more about the day-to-day life of these fascinating people. Every morning, just as the sun began to turn the sky pink, the ancient Egyptians would wake up. Their homes were made of mud bricks, which helped keep them cool in the desert heat. After washing themselves with water from clay jugs, they would eat a simple breakfast of bread and maybe some fruit. Most Egyptians worked hard in the fields, growing crops like wheat and barley. They used tools made of wood and stone. Others were skilled craftspeople, making pottery, weaving cloth, or building boats. The hot sun beat down as they worked, so they wore light clothes made from linen. Men and women had different roles in ancient Egypt. Men usually did the farming or worked in construction and other physically demanding jobs. Women took care of the home and children. They also helped with the harvest, and some learned crafts like weaving. Children in ancient Egypt played games, helped their parents with chores, and learned skills for their future lives. Boys often learned farming or crafts from their fathers, while girls learned household tasks from their mothers. Life could be tough, but they also had time for fun and games. The Nile River was the lifeline of Egypt. People used it for transportation, trade, and even bathing. They grew their crops along its banks and fished in its waters. The Egyptians even believed that the Nile was a god, and they celebrated its annual flood with festivals and offerings. Food was simple but nourishing. Bread was a staple, accompanied by vegetables like onions, lentils, and cucumbers. Fish from the Nile was a common source of protein. They also enjoyed fruits like dates and figs, which grew abundantly in the warm climate. Life in ancient Egypt was full of hard work and simple pleasures. Their beliefs, their work, and even their homes were all shaped by the land they lived in and the mighty river they depended on.